How I used Claude Code to rank #1 in Google. What if you could shut every SEO tool tab on your computer and still climb higher on Google than you ever have? Sounds impossible, right? What if one AI agent could write your content, wire up your links, and remember your whole brand voice, all from a single folder? What if the tool doing all this isn't even built for SEO? Stay with me because I'm about to show you exactly how this works. I'm the digital avatar of Zoe. My job is simple. I help people learn AI tools and actually use them in real work. Not theory, not hype, just stuff you can put to use today. Today, I'm walking you through how I use Claude Code to run my SEO. Same setup I use to show up on Google and inside AI search. And near the end, I'll show you the one layer most people skip completely. Skip it, and the rest of this barely works. So let's start with the basics. Claude Code is Anthropic's AI agent that runs right on your computer. You can use it in your terminal, inside your code editor, or through the desktop app. Here's the part that actually matters. It's not a chatbot. You're not copying answers out of a text box. It reads your files. It writes new files. It edits a stack of files at once. It runs commands for you. And it can run several tasks in parallel through smaller agents that work under it. So I asked myself a simple question. Why not point all of that at my SEO? That's exactly what I did. I turned Claude Code into my own SEO operating system, one place that handles the whole job. Let me show you why that's such a shift. The old way of doing SEO was scattered. One tool for keywords, another tool for writing. Then you copy everything into a doc. Then you log into your website. Then you add links by hand. Then you publish. Every step lived in a different place, and nothing talked to each other. By the time I got through all of that, the content usually felt flat, or the keyword had gone cold, or I just ran out of steam. With Claude Code, there's no tab switching. Everything happens in one folder. I pointed at that folder, and it builds the whole thing inside it. Think of it like a control room for your SEO instead of 10 disconnected apps. Here's a real example of how I've used it. I gave Claude Code a list of topics my audience keeps asking me about, and I let it draft full articles, titles, and descriptions in one pass. It even added internal links between the posts on its own. Each piece came out different, not copy-paste, because it read my own notes first and wrote in my voice instead of repeating whatever's already sitting on page 1 of Google. If you're watching this and thinking about your own site, this is exactly the kind of thing that's worth mapping out one-on-one. A one-to-one strategy session is where we take this content workflow and lay it out against your actual site, your actual keywords, and the actual content gaps you're sitting on right now. It's not a course and it's not a group call. It's just you, your site, and a plan built around where you're starting from. Now, here's where it gets more interesting. Claude Code can run more than one agent at a time. A lead agent takes a bigger job and splits it into smaller pieces, then hands each piece to its own agent, and they all work at once. Picture a job like building out a full set of blog posts around one topic. The lead agent breaks that into keyword research and outline, the actual writing, formatting, and internal linking, then runs those pieces side by side instead of one after another. That's work that used to take days, happening while you're doing something else entirely. And it doesn't stop at writing. You can also tell Claude Code, in plain English, to build you tools. Something like, build me a simple dashboard where I type in a keyword and hit one button. Claude Code writes the actual software behind that, the layout, the buttons, all of it. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know what an API is. You just say what you want, and the agent builds it. That's the whole point of running things this way. You're steering the system. You're not doing every small task with your own two hands. Now let's talk about the layer that ties this whole thing together, because a Claude Code setup only works as well as what you connect it to. It's built to sit alongside tools you already use, not replace your whole workflow overnight. If you've got other tools in your process, you can wire them in and let the agent reach them too. It isn't stuck working in its own little box. But here's the layer most people skip, and it's the one that actually makes everything above it worth doing. It's memory. Claude Code reads the whole folder you pointed at before it writes a single word. So I keep a folder full of notes about my own work and my own audience, the questions people ask, the way I explain things, the examples I actually use. A lot of people organize this kind of folder in Obsidian. which is just a simple way to store notes as plain files that Claude Code can read and even tidy up for you. When Claude Code sits down to write, it already knows all of that context. That's why the content doesn't read like something generic pulled off a template. Google and AI search are packed with articles that all say the same thing in the same way. Content with a real voice and real specifics stands out from that pile, but the agent only writes that way if you feed it your own context first. Skip this step, and you end up sounding like everyone else, no matter how good the tool is. Let me clear up a few things people always bring up. First, AI content doesn't rank. I get why people think that. There's a lot of lazy, generic AI content out there. But search engines don't actually care how something got written. They care whether it's useful, original, and true to a real person or brand. Add your own examples and your own voice, and it holds up. Second, this is too technical for me. It really isn't. If you can open a browser and type into a box, you can run this. Claude Code handles the hard part. You just describe what you want in normal words. Third, AI tools create more work, not less. Sometimes that's fair. If you're juggling 5 separate tools with no system, you're doing more copying and pasting, not less. But when one agent runs the whole pipeline, that flips. Work that used to eat your whole day can run in the background while you're doing something else. And last, I don't have time to set this up. Fair point. Building this out from scratch does take some effort to get right. That's the whole system laid out. Claude Code runs your SEO from one place instead of 10. The content engine handles the writing. Running multiple agents at once handles the heavy lifting on bigger projects. And the memory layer is what makes all of it sound like an actual person instead of a template, which is the part that actually gets you ranked. If you want the full process for free, I've put together a complete SEO course with over 260 lessons. It walks you through everything from the basics to advanced AI SEO workflows, completely free. Links in the comments and description. If you want to go further, this exact setup, the full Claude Code Agent OS, is inside the AI Profit Boardroom. That's where you'll find the zip file ready to install, so you're not building any of it from a blank folder. You get the content engine, the multi-agent workflow, and the memory layer walked through step by step, along with a full 30-day roadmap so you know exactly what to build first and what to build next. There are live coaching calls in there too, where you can share your screen and work through your own setup with me directly. And if you're about to go try this on your own site, you're going to run into questions fast. Which keywords are actually worth chasing, and how to get real links pointing back to your pages. That's the exact part that trips most people up at the start. A one-to-one strategy session gets you a plan built around your own site before you spend hours guessing, and you can ask anything you want live on the call. AIProfitBoardroom.com.